Hello and welcome to the New Mindset Podcast. My name is Jacob.
My name's Georgia.
I hope that you're all going really good. We are going fantastic, I think.
Yeah.
Georgia, how are you going?
Yeah, I'm going great. I
Yeah?
just cracked open a Lego.
I see that. Yeah, you've got, all I heard was, oh, what the heck? I got orange.
Orange is just my least favourite colour.
Yes.
I'm learning to love it because it's literally a New Mindset branded colour.
Yes.
But if you have tried any orange lolly, try and tell me that it doesn't taste like vomit.
I love butter menthols when I was younger.
Yuck.
They were orange.
Yuck. Yeah, I can't do orange snakes, orange jubes, orange anything. And I got this little Lego thing from Japan and I thought, why not make it and put it on my desk?
Cherry blossom.
And I thought that it was a cherry blossom because that was the largest picture on the
That's how
thing.
they advertised it.
But it just says that's the actual size of it.
Yes.
Rather than that's what's in your bag.
I've noticed
so
that.
I've technically got I've got a Japanese maple bonsai.
Ooh.
I'm making that instead of the cherry blossom bonsai. But that's okay. Nothing against the Japanese maple bonsai. I will just think of maple whiskey when I look at it.
Ooh, maple whiskey. We had a bit of that in Sydney one night and that was so good. So good.
No looking back.
Yeah, so with that, I actually, fun fact about the advertising with Japan, all their things are to size over there. So if you go over there and buy a Coke, the actual Coke on the size bottle is the Coke that you'll be getting. Like legally, that's how they do it. So it's you don't get ripped off.
Oh.
So that cherry blossom that you'll make or whatever maple tree will be the same size as the one that's on the packaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they do it
Oh,
everywhere.
okay. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
observed.
Yeah.
Observant.
Yeah.
So when he's doing back soon training at the moment, we recorded another podcast before this for 2 minutes and I had to check with Georgia whether it was recording or not, and I can't edit at the moment as well as our previous editor, James, so I'm like, we're going to have to restart the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in there listening to Daddy's Home 2 at the moment. Back soon training is just like, because he's a little bit of an anxious schnauzer. And I am now in office full-time working, and you pretty much are too. You're here a few days a week.
Yeah.
But so yeah, he's just got to get used to being on his own a little bit more. So that's what he's going through. He's actually doing pretty good. No barking, no nothing.
No, exactly. It's now just leaving him actually physically
for
home
long
by
periods
himself.
of time. Yeah. Anyway, how are you going? You just finished your big
6
week.
days a week of
Auditions.
auditions for the drama school.
Yes.
And yeah, it's great. You know, it's awesome seeing lots of faces that maybe did drama a while ago and then are coming back. Some people that we met at the musical, the process of the musical.
Yep.
It's good. It's definitely tiring.
Yes.
I have a welcome speech that I do for every single group that comes through. And the minimum I did it 5 times a night. Average was 6 times a night. Max was 7 times a night.
That's rough.
And you do it like you try and smash it out in like 2 or 3 minutes. It always goes more because, you know, you just keep going into all the details. So
You love to talk.
I'm like spoken out.
Oh, well, lucky we're doing a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We've already introduced you, so let's do our normal 10 to 1.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
We used to call it elimination game, but 10 to 1 sounds friendlier.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So yeah, if you haven't heard it before, we got 1 question, you got 10 variables, and you pick the one that you most prefer. So this week's question is, what have I written? If you could be in any one of these bands, which one would it be?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay,
We're going
interesting.
very down the music path with these questions.
Yeah.
And I struggle to find any modern day bands that I know that you like. But
Okay.
I'll try this one. So we'll start off with the Jackson 5 or One Direction. Which one?
One Direction.
Yeah, that was One Direction or Coldplay.
Coldplay.
Yeah. Chris Martin, I think it is.
Yeah.
James went and saw him.
Yeah.
Because they just came to Australia and I
Said
think
it
New
was
Zealand.
amazing.
Yeah.
I had a few girls from work go and said it was like phenomenal.
Some people hate Coldplay. I don't know.
Yeah, one of my other co-workers cannot stand them.
I think
thinks
they-
that all of their songs are super mopey and emotional and like
I was going to say it's like hopeful.
depressing. Yeah, well, that's what I think. I think it's a good vibe. Anyway, Coldplay.
Get him to pull their head in. Coldplay versus Queen. Remember we saw that Live AIDS concert that looked really...
That was fun. I mean, to be able to have that kind of energy that Freddie had.
Yep.
Would
First
I be
name
next
basis.
to him?
First name basis.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
We
you'd
go
be up
way
there.
back.
Yeah.
Or would I be him?
No, you're with them.
Okay, I'd be, yeah. Queen.
Queen or AC/DC?
Queen.
Yeah. Queen or the Beatles?
Queen.
Yeah, you're not really a fan of the Beatles. Well, you just don't know of
Well,
them,
it's
really.
just the vibe is not my vibe.
Yeah. Queen or U2?
Queen.
You don't know U2? U2 was, when I first got my iPod, I was like, what the hell is this? And U2 actually had a partnership with Apple, I believe, Apple Music, where all their songs were streamed for free.
Yeah.
So it was like the only songs that came with it.
Yeah.
So I just pumped that all the time.
Yeah.
Ended up kind of liking it. What are we up to? Queen or Guns N' Roses?
Queen.
Queen or Green Day? Queen?
Who's Green Day?
Oh my god. Queen or Foo Fighters?
Queen.
All right, Queen or this is number 11. I'm just throwing it in. What was that band that you went and saw live?
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy. Queen or Fall Out Boy?
Fall Out Boy.
Oh damn. Oof.
Sorry, Queen.
So Fall Out Boy wins.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on the
It
list.
wasn't even on the list.
I would 100%
Only because
go Beatles.
I love them.
I'm going Beatles.
Yeah.
I've just fallen in love with the Beatles.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll go Queen because they're iconic.
So which one?
You could have put ABBA on there, and I probably would have gone ABBA.
Yeah, I could have gone ABBA.
Yeah. I'll go, well, based on the list, I'll go Queen. But
Yep.
ABBA and Fall Out Boy are highly...
No, so
Commended.
you got Queen. I'll go. You got Queen. I've gone. What have I
Jacob
gone?
was called a Queen this week at his new job.
Oh yeah, one of the guys
Yes,
going.
Queen.
Yeah, and I didn't know how to react to that. Yeah, because I wore Jordans. I love my Jordans. I'm trying to collect them. And yeah, he walked into the lunchroom, and I'm just sitting there innocently. He's like, "Yes, Queen." I'm like, "Yep,
Yes.
yep,
Yes.
yes, sir." I'm going Beatles because the Beatles just sound so good. Their songwriting is really good. I don't really like the sound of some of their songs, but the songwriting is always the best.
Here comes the sun.
Do. Watch me get copyrighted now. I betcha.
No, I think a few seconds you're allowed.
A few seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think there's a limit of like 6 seconds per song
Yep.
you can show.
Yeah.
So we're fine.
Nice. Okay, well, also, if anyone needs a show suggestion, this is more for teenagers and parents. Kids, don't watch this.
No.
It's
Please
on
don't. Oh my
Stan
God, yeah.
called From, and it's, without giving it much away because I've got a history of that, Georgia will say.
The worst history of spoilers
Yes.
ever in my life.
So this one is a small town. Basically, if people randomly somehow get into this town by driving down this highway and you get stuck in there, you can't get out. And basically,
You try to, and it's a circle.
yeah, you can't
Loop,
get out
loop,
of there.
loop.
You just can't. Well, at the moment, I'm on season 2. Can't get out of there. That's no one else's. I don't know if you can even do it. Don't know. But and during you can do whatever you want during the day. And at night, these ghosts come out that could be relatives of yours, or they try to convince you to open up the doors and the windows so they can get in. And if you let them in, which some people do for whatever bloody reason, they turn into a demon-looking thing and they kill you. So don't do that. But very suspenseful. I like it.
It's it's kind of like
Very well
you
written.
don't really know what to expect. Characters kind of come out from all these different areas
Yeah,
in
if you
terms
like
of like,
the-
who are you and what is your backstory?
If you like The Walking Dead, it's pretty similar. It's not zombies, but it's fairly similar. I like it.
It's just a group of people and the
Yeah.
storylines overlap.
I like the acting.
Yeah.
Acting's good.
Except for one cry scene.
One crow. Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
That was like my level of acting. But what are you watching? You're up to Vampire Diaries still?
Yeah, I'm up to Vamps.
Still going.
That's it. Still going. Going strong.
We tried to watch it when we first... Well, we did watch it when we first started dating.
No, someone kept watching it without me.
Yeah.
And that was the show that we were meant to watch together.
Yeah, so then I think I got up to a point where I'm just like, this is too repetitive, and then we both stopped, and now you're back on it.
Yeah, I'm back on it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really weird. My nanny used to watch it. She was like late 60s, and she loved it. It's probably because all the guys are hot.
Yeah.
And the girls are good looking too. There's like no... If you watch a movie, there's no ugly people in that show. Is there?
No.
No, there's not. But you... And then you go look at watch The Office, and everyone in there just looks like...
A person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's how they hired people. It was the US office. They wanted like mundane, ordinary people because you can't put
I would
superstars.
not describe a person as mundane.
That's how they did. They did
Yeah, but I wouldn't say, yep, you're mundane, in your hop.
in your
I'd
hot
just be
mate.
like an ordinary
Average
person.
Joe. Average Joe. Anyway, today's...
Moving on.
Well, actually, I really like the listener question that we got this week, but I'll save that for... Oh, do I do it now?
No, do it at the end.
I really want to do it now.
No.
Okay, so today's question podcast, you're going to be off the cuff here because we're jam-packed week. When is it time to finish seeing your counsellor or psychologist, psychiatrist? Now, this is not in a bad way. This is not saying, my counsellor and I don't connect, or my counsellor is shit. I don't connect with, they're no good for me. This is, I've actually got a really good relationship with them. But when do I know when to finish my sessions with them, my appointments?
Yeah, because really good therapists don't want you to stay forever.
No.
They want to build you up to be a great individual and be able to deal with all of the challenges that you have. So it's like, okay, when do I know within myself that I'm ready for that?
Yeah, and there's no manual.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be quite easy to become reliant on this person. So, say you've gone in there and you've got an addiction to gambling, let's just say, and now you've seen this person over 2 or 3 months and you're actually feeling in a really good place, but there's always going to be that vulnerability there of, what happens if I go back? I'm going to lose all my progress.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's that next leap of faith now that you've got to trust in yourself and the process that you went through. So yeah, we're going to chat about that today.
Yeah.
And we've both got personal experience. So you're still seeing who you're seeing, which is really cool. I'm not. I used to see my psychologist. I've already said this, but growing up, I've seen her on and off for, a few years. And I go there every time I've got a problem that I can't overcome, which is good. And I think her and I have a very open way of communicating. So, she'll say, okay, look, she doesn't normally put a time frame on it. She doesn't say, in 10 sessions, we'll reevaluate and go from there. It's normally at the point where it's like, yeah, I'm good now.
She says that?
No, I do.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I do. I'm like, you know what, I'm good now.
I'm good.
And she'll also say, yeah, I think you are too. But I've had times as well when I was younger and I'm just thinking, I feel really good. And it's like, look, I don't think so. Not yet.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But like you said, a good psychologist, just like a good physio, they don't want you coming in injured or being injured all the time because they're not doing their job properly, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. They want to show that they're doing good and they're helping you out.
Yeah, and help as many people as they want. So, when we're helping someone, let's just say a child with anxiety, it's, I don't want you here for years and years and years. I want you to bounce back and capture everything again as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And build that confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's us doing our job.
Builds that codependency. And it's like, no, we want you to be independent, confident individuals.
Yeah. So with that, I know it's probably tough for you to sort of relate to because you're still seeing someone at the moment, but how do you sort of envisage it coming to an end? Because you've sort of seen them over a period of a year or so, over a year?
Over a year now.
Yeah, so, yeah. What do you reckon?
Over a year? Maybe,
No,
I'd say 18 months.
18 months.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's sort of coming, you're definitely through the middle of it from what I've sort of understood.
Well, I don't know. Like the session that I had most recently was really insightful. And there was something that we kind of unpacked within the last 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20, because she let me go over. But I guess the main reason that I initially went to her for is resolved, or at least 80% resolved. Like I'm feeling really confident about it. But we are humans and we always evolve as individuals and we have so much that's going on that now we're kind of going a little bit deeper in terms of some of the things that are going on, behaviors, thought patterns, habits that are not as productive for the type of person that I want to be. So, yeah, we're working through that.
Yeah, so that's a good example. So you went there for an initial problem that it's hard for me to say, but resolved, overcome, whatever it is, but now it's more so you're actually going deeper now.
Yeah.
You're not
it was like
there for
that was an issue. And it's, it's 80% there.
That issue got you into the door.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
now you overcome it, whatever it is, and now you're going deep because you saw a psychologist for the first time when you're 25. So you've got, 25 years of, if you wanted to, which it sounds like you do, figure this out. Why am I this way? Who do I want to be? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went there with a specific issue, resolved it, and now I'm good. So everyone's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And So there's absolutely, that's what we want to make sure. There's no rush. Don't ever feel rushed. Because, everyone's different.
Yeah.
And everyone's problems are, just like anxiety. Like I said, everyone's got anxiety, but some people handle it better than others. If someone's lost a parent, some handle it better than others. So, everyone's different. And every psychologist is different. Every approach is different. And, George is very, you're known for, I would say, he's bringing up a problem with 5 minutes to go in the session, or having this aha moment with 5 minutes to go. Normally when a psychologist would wrap up,
yeah. Well, that's what I said to her. She said, she gave me a prompting question, and then I just said, oh God, how much time do we have? Because you've poked something that I would love to unpack. But yeah, and it was interesting. I had this thought of going into the session at the very beginning of the one that I just had, and I didn't initially start with that. There were certain things of, how was your week? What's going on? Catch me up. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll catch her up on all the stuff that's happening. So unpacked all of that. And it was actually quite nice to conclude that issue that I was delving into with her in the last few sessions that we've had, rather than jump straight into, okay, this is what I want to focus on today. It was kind of nice to wrap it up of sorts, because now it feels like that's wrapped up.
Yep.
And now I'm moving into something deeper. Whereas if I didn't have that conclusive kind of, oh, okay, I'm feeling good about that now. Now let's move on.
Yeah, for sure. And we should also mention, I know I went into a pretty intensive therapy, so it was like, once a week. And you started there, I believe, once a fortnight.
Once a fortnight.
But now you've sort of branched back to...
Once a month.
Once a month, yeah. So... Yeah, and you feel as though that's a good spot for you. So you sort of haven't taken like the point where, you're saying, like we're going to be discussing here, where you finish seeing your counsellor you can always go back. Just because you finish in, what are we, November, doesn't mean you can't go back in June next year if you think there's something that you want to delve into. But
exactly.
Yeah, and you're at the point where you're sort of weaning off it a little bit. If we looked at it like a medication, you started once a fortnight, and now you're once a month, and it could be every 2 months or you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it's also just depends on the issue that you're bringing up.
Exactly.
How frequently you need to, it
doesn't even have to be an issue. I want to stop using the word issue because you don't have to. I've been saying it.
Yeah.
But like you're delving deeper now into who you want to be. You were saying, so that's not an issue. That's just a question that you want answered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just like you said it before, and I liked it, where you don't have to only see a counsellor when you've got an issue.
Well, that's what I feel as though that I'm at the moment, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not like I have a really... No, I lie. I don't know.
Nothing. It's like not an issue that anyone else wouldn't have, I don't think. We just handle it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a concern.
A concern.
Well,
you're sort of future-proofing. It's like insurance. Like you get insurance in case your house burns down. You don't get insurance the day after your house burns down. It's like you're future-proofing yourself.
My diabetes clinics that I go to. Like, I don't feel like I need them all the time, but it's good to go to have that routine check. So it's like, okay, well...
Just like anything.
Yeah, it might be nice to have that routine check and, wean off of it maybe.
Like the dentist?
Yeah.
I need to go see the dentist. Don't want to.
I got a text that I was overdue.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Teeth are going to fall out.
Yeah, they will.
Oh, crap. All right. So, we've already said, there's no rush. Never feel pressured.
Yeah.
A good counsellor psychologist won't ever make you feel pressured. I've had a friend where their psychologist just said, I think you're good now. I think you're done. And she was nowhere near that.
No.
And it was like, oh, my God.
That's like a no.
Yeah.
Because then you feel like you like, especially if you don't have that connection with your client, I guess, with your individual, that's like, well, no, you obviously don't understand where I'm at. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go... And a counsellor won't want you to be reliant on them either. So they're sort of running this fine line of, you've been here for... I thought you would have been here for 10 sessions, but we've actually turned out to take 20 sessions on this one issue. But like I always like to be, we would always like to be transparent. So if we don't feel as though we're actually getting anywhere, we would just say that, hey, the approach that I've sort of taken, I think it's wrong. Do you want to try this approach?
Yeah. So and just
like,
being transparent and open.
Exactly. Yep. That's what I imagine a good
Hope to be.
a psychologist counsellor would do, and that's what I've had. And a good one, they'll ask if you're ready. Like she or he will say, how are you feeling? Do you feel comfortable? Yeah, and you can just be as transparent as you want.
Yeah. Like sometimes at the particular practice that I go to, they always say, look, they always book a few sessions in advance because they get so booked out. And they say, look, would you like to continue booking in sessions? No pressure at all, but if you'd like to book some in, I'm happy to do that with you now. And so it kind of gives you that open-ended question of, look, if you want to book in, you can. But if you don't want to book in, then no stress. We'll see you soon. You're still on our books kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And if that was ever the case, I'd be like, okay, well, maybe let's check in 3 months' time. Let's book in for then and then see how we're going.
Yeah, and if something happens, you can always just call up and say,
hey, pop me on a cancellation list. I'd love to see someone this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You're never gonna get timing, scheduling perfect. It's always gonna be, you're gonna go to a session and everything's actually good. And that won't be as effective as a session that is you desperately need someone to talk to. So it's never going to be perfect. And you're also well within your rights to ask the counsellor if they think you're ready, because at the end of the day, you're putting your trust in this person, and it's hard just with anxiety, because anxiety is always there. There's always that doubt of, am I actually capable now of pushing through this discomfort and looking after myself and and in our case, we want to turn into a superpower. So it's like, is it actually a superpower yet? Am I there? Yeah. So be honest and just ask the question. Be bold enough to ask the question. And like I said, a good psychologist will go, yep, you are ready. Or I don't actually think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I like that idea that you said that they are, you're asking them because you are putting your trust in them. Like, their job is to be a reflection, almost be that mirror of who you are. So it's like, okay, well, maybe I can't say yes or no. I can't tell you to continue or not continue. But these are the observations that I have seen. These are the skills that you've developed. These are the competencies you've developed. We could unpack ABC a little bit more. Yep. You could build a little bit more strength in your self-compassion.
Yep.
And that's something that we can explore over a few weeks or a few sessions or whatever.
Well, you can always ask if you want to be more blunt. I get where you're coming from. So if you want to narrow it down even more, say if you've gone in there with, anxiety, do you think I'm at the point now where I can look after myself regarding my anxiety? Narrow the question down.
Yeah.
We want a yes or no.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We don't want to...
wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Unless you want that.
Well, yeah. But at the end of the day, money's always... money's there. Psychology's bloody expensive. Like $260 for an hour is a good price right now to see a psychologist.
Yeah.
So money, that's a lot. So you don't want to be screwing around if you don't have to. Like, you could save $1,000 if you don't go, if you stop the session 5 sessions before it starts wishy-washy on. So
no, that's true. Yeah, gain that clarity if you feel like you need it.
Yeah, like it's your money, your session, your time. Remember, they're being paid by you, so you're in control.
You are.
You're the boss of the session.
Yeah, 100%.
So be upfront, and that's tough for someone with anxiety to do because that's
or people pleasing tendency
people pleasing,
too.
Yeah.
You're like, oh well, they love seeing me, so I better keep up my sessions. That could be a thought for a people pleaser.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't want to offend you by saying, hey...
I don't want to let them down.
Yeah, so...
By feeling as though that they don't need... Like, I don't need them.
Yeah.
Because I still need them.
But you're the boss.
There's that codependency.
But yeah, you're the boss. It's your money, your time.
Yeah.
You control it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just honestly ask the question. And like I said, a good one will be honest with you.
Yeah.
And a bad one will be money-driven.
Yeah.
I think you'll find out who you got. Unfortunately, but most of them are good. It's just like any profession, there's always someone bad. It's like police. Like you see the 1% of bad police on social media and everyone thinks they're all bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, and we've already said this, but becoming reliant on your counsellor is also a thing. So be mindful of that. Not going too, longer than what you actually have to.
Yeah.
And that comes from just being honest and asking the right questions and just being transparent. And what have I got here? Just because you stop seeing your counsellor, that does not mean you cannot go back. That's a good one as well. So you're not saying goodbye forever. You're just saying, hey, is this issue that I came to you with, or is this problem, this conflict with myself resolved? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, and if that's wrong, because they're not, how would they know 100%? So if you find out in 2 weeks, oh, okay, it's still there. Well, guess what? You got a phone, you can always call back up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And there's never any judgment with that too.
Exactly. But we'll narrow this question down. When is it time to stop seeing my counsellor? Yes. Have you got any?
Question. When's it time to not seeing?
Yeah, when is it time to stop seeing my counsellor?
Well, yeah, when you feel as though the initial issue that you've gone there to, that you've requested that little bit of help and support with, is resolved. That's what I would say. That would be probably the biggest reason. If you feel as though as well that, you initially went there, say it's not a particular concern of yours that you've gone to with an idea, but it's more of a feeling, you called up and sought out a therapist to help with these overwhelming feelings that you're having. If you feel as though that you've got that kind of stability within yourself, able to regulate those emotions a little bit more effectively.
When like you've gained the skill that you set out to achieve.
Yeah. It could be like, hey, I'm having a conflict with my sister and, I really just need another opinion of it, or I just don't know how to move forward with my sister because this is the goal that I have and I want to be able to see this out. Or it could be, hey, I've got this work pressure, I've got this study pressure, I've got this family pressure. How do I better effectively manage my time?
Yep.
Like those are very tangible. Oh, okay, I found a way to ask my boss for less hours or more flexible hours so that I can meet my family commitments. I've enlisted my husband to help me with the kids so I can do my study. Like they're very... you can
environmental changes.
When more so like the goal that you set out is clear, measurable to achieve.
Yeah. And that's easier with environment because you can physically see the environment. So with the husband case, you can physically see, okay, that's in action now. But when it's self-dialogue or, anything that you cannot physically measure, that's a little more difficult.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to, yeah.
You understand? Like, that makes sense?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going along with. Like, yeah, if it's a physical thing outside of you, it's easier to be like, yep, I've achieved that. Thanks so much. I'll keep you in my books if I need any troubles.
Yes.
Or if it's, that internal dialogue, that self-criticism, that overwhelming sense of, negative emotions, it's a lot more difficult to deem, okay, I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling okay now.
Yep.
You kind of need to trust your gut in that sense of, okay, I can manage these emotions effectively.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah, trust your gut.
Yeah, well, your intuition.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off before my nose. Anyone else? Well, once we get the video up, you'll be able to see when my hay fever kicks in, my nose was going. And I'm like, I don't know, I didn't hear anything. I'm going to jump back in.
Yep.
I apologise, Georgia. And another sure sign is when you should stop seeing your counsellor for this period of time is when you're struggling to fill the sessions. If you're finding that there's silence or your head's actually jumping to problems that aren't likely there, or there's concerns or stresses in your life that, aren't actually there, but you're just trying to fill these sessions and get the most of it, that could actually be a sign that you become reliant on them as well, that you don't want to leave this space. Just be honest again.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I'm actually feeling really good and I don't know what to do. Because that can be uncomfortable if you've been in distress for, 5-10 years. Getting out of that can feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Or as well, just another thing on that to support. Sometimes when your psychologist says, what else is going on? Those kinds of open-ended questions when they feel as though that they might not be able to direct those questions to a concern that you have. But also don't mistake that as well. I just realised as I said that they are just seeing what else comes to the surface.
Yeah, you'll know the difference.
Yeah.
You'll get the 10-second awkward silence. So what else is going on? When you're trying to small talk with a friend that you don't really know. And you don't know. Yeah. That's what that is.
That question of, okay, there is a little bit more here. What else is happening for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your sessions are starting to feel unfulfilled. So if you've done the full hour session, you walk out of it like, oh, okay.
That was it.
And if you, was that it? I just paid all that money for that. If you've had that, we can all have that session every now and then. But if you're getting that repetitively, it's probably a sign.
A little bit of a sign.
You're good. Like you're capable now. Yeah, I like that. That was my list. Did you have anything else while you play with your Lego? Any other suggestions?
It helps me focus, I promise.
ADHD. Did you have any other suggestions? I know it's probably tough for you because you're still in that process of you haven't had to deal with it or you haven't researched as much, but that's everything I could find research wise and personal experience wise because there's no manual, so it's tough. But the big thing I gained is just be honest with the counsellor and psychologist, psychiatrist, whoever you've got. You've put your trust in them, so and you're the boss of your sessions.
Yeah, no, I like those things. Those are all really good.
I like it. All right, our listener question. I like this one. It's a little outdated now, but a week is very quick in politics, I'd say, and social media and mental health. But what are the pros and cons of the potential ban on social media for 16 and under in Australia? That's already been solved. So it got passed the other day.
Oh, did it?
I was told it was at work, and it came up online as well. So I'm going to go on the basis that it has been passed. As Georgia made the weirdest noise I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
They may not have heard it.
Well, I heard it. But yeah, what are your first...
My initial thoughts
on that while I researched to make sure this has actually been passed.
Oh, okay, cool. My initial thought is there were always laws about like Facebook. At least that was the really big thing. Facebook and MSN, 9MSN were the big things when we were younger. And people still cheated the Facebook system of, I am this old and went past it. So like I'll just... My observation, not necessarily a pro or a con, sorry, let me articulate that better, is the fact, is it actually going to be, are we actually going to see a reduction of young people use the platforms? How are you going to reinforce or delete the accounts for the people that are under the age of 16? Pros, I think it allows young people to develop connections face-to-face a lot better rather than having to go online to seek those kinds of conversations and connections. It also allows the brain to form, and this is just me going off the cuff. I have no research about this, but from podcasts I've listened to and experts in the field, those younger years of someone's adolescence is really pivotal in forming self-confidence and self-assurance. So being able to do so without the negative influences of social media, I think would be really positive in terms of an individual's development. Those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Is it real or is it not?
It is.
Oh, it is?
It has been passed.
Jeez.
It will be... Well, this is ABC News, so I'll just read this. So, under the laws which won't come into force for another 12 months, social media companies could be fined up to $50 million for failing to take reasonable steps to keep under 16s off their platforms.
Wow.
And it says here there are no penalties for young people or parents who, break the rules.
No penalties for parents or young people, but the social media companies will be punished.
Yeah. Yep. So it's sort of like there's a rule there, but you can break it. Is that what I'm gathering? It's sort of not
we as people, but it's more so they need to make their systems so much more rigorous. So who knows? Like, when do you get your license?
Well, that's my
your
next
driver's
question.
license. I wonder if you're going to have to put that on there.
I originally, even now, so after having a while to think about it, I think it is an awesome move because we've all got to realise that social media is the first of its kind. It's not like a car where we've had cars for over 100 years and they keep enhancing and getting better and safer. This is like the first of its kind, so it's the most dangerous version of itself. We've got to remember that.
True.
For one, like our parents didn't even have it when they were our age.
Yeah, they're navigating this with us.
So us being mid-20s, we were the first to sort of come into it at a teenage sort of level. We were teenagers when this kicked in, which...
Scary.
Yeah, it's scary. I think it's a good move. Obviously, they're doing this on the back of suicides that have been occurring in younger people, unfortunately. That's the big reason, and online bullying, of course. I think it's awesome. My only question is, when will there be a company out there that makes a friendly, in quotation marks, social media? So Instagram for kids potentially comes out. Instagram for young people.
Yeah. And what's the difference between this and that?
It doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I don't think it can be. And like they said, there's no punishment. So, what the heck?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to think.
Like I'm gonna be like when I was starting my Facebook account, I just put in my email, date of birth. Let's fudge that a little bit, and I'm in Facebook at age 10.
Yeah.
And I was doing nothing more than playing the games. But kids these days, I can go and talk to this person. I can join this group.
It's advertisements as well, like sponsored ads and that kind of thing. I know it's all about cookies and stuff, but, you don't have complete control over that kind of stuff. So the advertisements that pop up before you play the games
there shouldn't be a world where a 10-year-old can talk to a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, online. Whatever gender you are, whatever nationality, there should not be a world where a 10-year-old can talk to a 40-year-old.
No.
That you don't know. That's just... we'll look back in 50 years ago, what the shit was that?
Yeah.
Like, how can that happen?
How is that allowed?
And, yeah, like you were saying, there's no ID. You don't get an ID until you get your driver's license, really. You get a school one, but I don't know if every school gets it. I know my school did and your school did, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see.
I think my initial... Like, the pros of it is obviously there's going to be... If, say, perfect world, there's going to be a less online bullying. That's going to be a thing. Because if you're being bullied now, you're being bullied at school, you're being bullied at home, you're being bullied on the weekend, you're being bullied when you're asleep. So that's going to stop that.
That's a really sad observation.
Yeah, well, it's just like I said, it's the most dangerous of its kind because it's the first model of it.
Yeah.
And it's only getting more invasive, social media. Like, they're getting it on glasses now. So you're wearing your glasses and you can scroll through your social media.
No.
So... I think something had to be done, and I know Elon Musk came out and was saying that Australia is trying to control the narrative with social media, but I'm a fan of Elon, but I don't think it's, what do you want people to do? Just, want the suicides to keep occurring? And you can't say social media doesn't have anything
to do with it.
Yeah, anything to do with it. That's just BS.
I mean, it's a bold move, and it'll be interesting to see it's going to be 2 years' time because it's 12 months for them to get their stuff together to be able to enforce that ruling
under the laws,
and then
which won't come
afterwards.
into force for another 12 months.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 2 years.
1 year.
Yeah. 1 year for it to come into place, and then 2 years to see 1 year of what it's looked like been in place. That will be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a positive though. You can't it couldn't keep happening.
No,
and I think that includes TikTok as well. I don't know about YouTube. But definitely TikTok, that was a form of social media. I just see, it says messaging apps. Messaging apps.
Well, good on you. You get to learn your friend's mobile number or your friend's parents' number, and then you can talk to them like that on the good old days.
Yeah, well, fun fact with that, I had a grade 5 girlfriend that I've already told you about, so this is not a secret coming out. But I ran up mum's phone bill $350 in a space of a quarter or a month, in a space of a month or 3 months.
I forgot it was that much.
Yeah, 300 it was definitely in the 300s. Yeah, because we were just talking every day after school. So yeah, don't do that. But yeah, I think it's a very good move.
Mm.
But the fact that it says there are no penalties for young people or parents, that's just
the responsibility.
What's a deterrent?
Well, the responsibility then lies in the social media companies, which is I'm glad that there is a shift for them to take responsibility for the behaviours that are taking place on the platform. I don't think that should completely void young people of
but what is
taking
responsibility?
Poor actions?
What's the definition of the responsibility? What does that mean?
Well,
it just says, are you? They could literally just say, are you Are you over the age of 16? Yes.
Yeah, but what I mean is there is so much of this cyberbullying happening online, and it feels as though that it's happening too late, or social media companies are not being as preventative as what they need to be in order for this stuff to not happen. Like for content to be circulating around that is harmful, like as soon as something is posted that resembles something, should be taken down.
Yeah.
You know, and it feels as though that hasn't been that responsibility of how much harm is coming to young people. Like that was like this poor beautiful little girl from I saw on Facebook.
The one in Brisbane.
12 years old, and she
Yeah.
took her life.
Yeah.
You know, that's insane.
Well,
because of the stuff that's circulating online. So it's important that the onus is put back onto the platform that allows this types of communication to take place. Do I think that there should be no punishments for young people? I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some sort of responsibility of don't lie about your age and everything on online platforms.
Well, I'll put it this way. What's like drinking is illegal unless you're 18. I wonder and we all know the effects of drinking, but we don't know the effects of social media yet. So 16 even could be too low. So
Yeah, well, we only know by putting this in place and seeing where it falls here. And if it's still bad, then up it.
The other question people have is what happens at 16? Because now, you know, when we were from 13 to 16, that's 3 years of learning how social media works and the do's and don'ts. But now you get to 16 and it's all fresh. It's like, okay, now I'm 18, I can go out and drink, for instance. It's like you don't actually know drink safety when you're 18. So when you get to 16, you're not going to know social media safety. And it's going to be this whole new land. I still think it's good because the brain can develop over that 3 year period from 13 to 16 massively.
Better.
But yeah.
Anyway.
Overall, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's where we'll finish it.
Yes.
All right. Do you have a G's joke to finish off?
No, I don't.
Anything off the top of your head?
Hold on, wait.
No, I'm not waiting.
Oh.
Here we go.
What do bees use to brush their hair?
Bruh, you used this last week.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. It was honeycomb.
Oh.
All right,
I
no
did the
G's joke,
Forrest Gump
everyone. If you're
one.
hanging out for that the whole time, I'm so sorry. Have you got anything else? Anything else off the top of your head?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Oh, no, wait.
Oh, my God. I got a Yo Mama joke.
I don't have one.
I got a Yo Mama joke.
Okay.
All right.
So what do I say?
Nothing. What was it? I remember just hearing this at school. Your mum is so fat that when it rains, she uses the highway as a slippery slide. I always like that one. That's how we will finish that off. Unless, well, if you don't like it, you should have come with a joke.
Yeah, true.
I've got other ones, but I can't say it on this.
No, I was thinking that.
But yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed the podcast, what do we say? Give it a like.
Give it a like, subscribe,
Everything.
follow.
Thank
if
you
you're
so
on
much.
Spotify, subscribe if you're on YouTube.
And yeah, send in your listener question. I really like that one because it was very relative. So thank you very much. And we will see you all next week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you, everyone. Bye.